Hello and welcome, future educators. In this little explainer, we're going to tackle a challenge that, let's be honest, every single teacher faces. How do you create a rich, inclusive classroom when you don't exactly have a huge budget? We're going to explore how your own creativity is truly the most powerful tool you'll ever have.
So here's the big question, right? How do you do it? How do you teach every single student effectively when resources are tight? I know, it can feel like a huge, overwhelming question, but today we're going to find some really powerful, practical answers together. This isn't about wishing for more money, it's about changing how we look at the world to see all the incredible potential that's already around us. All right, let's jump right in. First up, the reality in your classroom. Before we can get all creative and resourceful, we have to be real about the challenges you might face. Acknowledging where you are is always the first step to getting where you want to go. So, in lots of places, like in some basic schools in Ghana, for example, tight budgets mean teachers often don't have a lot of fancy resources, and you might find yourself in a very similar spot. But I really want you to see this not as a dead end, but as an invitation, a challenge to be innovative and resourceful. And that leads us perfectly into our next big idea, the power of improvisation. Seriously, this is where the magic happens. This is where you go from just being a teacher to being a true learning designer, crafting these amazing experiences from the world that's right outside your window. So what is improvisation, really? Well, it just means using what you've got. It's about looking at a leaf, a bottle cap, or a piece of cardboard, and not just seeing what it is, but what it could teach. A super simple object can become a doorway to a really big idea. And the benefits? Oh, they go way beyond just saving a few bucks. When your students actually help create their own learning tools, they take real ownership over their education. It builds confidence, it builds self-reliance, and it connects these abstract classroom concepts to their actual everyday lives. It's empowering for everyone. I mean, just picture this transformation. Bottle caps become a tool for counting. An old, used calendar becomes a brand new map. A student who physically sorts beans to understand probability, feeling them, seeing the patterns, they're going to remember that lesson so much more than if they just read a definition. It becomes real. Okay, moving on to section 3, choosing your tools wisely. Because here's the thing, creativity without a clear purpose can sometimes miss the mark. The goal isn't just to make cool stuff, it's to make stuff that genuinely helps your students learn. This little checklist right here, this is your best friend. Before you create anything, just ask yourself, does this actually match my lesson goal? Is it right for my student's age? Is it accurate? And maybe most importantly, is it actually going to keep them interested? A great teaching aid isn't just clever, it's intentional. And you can see on this slide, there are two ways this can go. On one side, you have a tool that makes things clearer. On the other, one that just makes things more confusing. A really brilliant idea can totally backfire if it's too complicated. If your students are spending all their brainpower trying to figure out your tool instead of the concept itself, well, it's become a barrier, not a bridge. Always, always aim for clarity. This idea of picking the right tool is especially critical when we talk about making a truly inclusive classroom. So in this next section, let's focus on technology for every learner. Because for students with special educational needs, our resourcefulness isn't just helpful, it's absolutely essential. The goal of what we call assistive technology, or AT, is actually really simple. It's all about removing barriers. It's about making sure every single student can participate in learning. It's about leveling the playing field and giving everyone a voice in the conversation. Now, when we say technology, I know your mind probably jumps to computers and fancy software. But as you can see here, assistive tech is a whole spectrum. A super low-tech solution, like a simple pencil grip, can be just as life-changing as high-tech screen reading software. The goal is just to find the right fit for the student, and you know what? Often, the simplest solution is the best one. And this image right here is a perfect example of that. We see a student using a personalized setup, probably with some assistive tools, to really engage with their lesson. This is what it's all about. It's about adapting the environment to the student, not expecting the student to adapt to the environment. That's how you unlock an individual's potential. All right, on to our final section, finding your community. And this one is so, so important, because the one thing I really want you to remember is that you are not alone in this. Your greatest resource might just be other people. Have you heard of Open Educational Resources, or OERs? Think of them like a giant global library of resources that were created by teachers for teachers. They're all free for you to use, to change, to adapt for your own classroom. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every single time. And please, don't forget about the power of professional associations. They give you the network you need to connect with other teachers, to share ideas, to solve problems together. Think of your colleagues in your school and beyond as your professional family. They are your absolute best support system.
There's this quote from some Ghanaian educators that it just perfectly captures the spirit of everything we've talked about today. It's a powerful reminder that the most important resource in any classroom is always the teacher's own creativity and ingenuity.
So as we close out, I want you to think about this. What is the first resourceful tool you're going to create for your students? Maybe tomorrow. Just remember, your own ingenuity is the most powerful educational technology you will ever have. Now go create something amazing.